Welcome to the Ultimate MetaSounds Reference Guide, Additive Synth. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the Additive Synth node and discussing its functionality. To gain a better understanding of this node, I feel we first need to understand what Additive Synth is at its core. Additive Synth is the practice of adding multiple sine waves together to create a more complex sound. This is done by adding harmonic frequencies and then adjusting those harmonics based on other parameters. So now let's take a look at this node. On the input side, we have our base frequency, an array input for the harmonic multipliers, an array input for amplitudes, an array for phases, and an array for pan amounts. Our base frequency is our starting point. Now, even though this node is technically a sine wave generator, without any harmonic multipliers, this node will not produce an output signal. So let's look at our first array input. The first thing that I want to point out is that this node handles array inputs a little differently than others. Typically, an array input will pull a predefined element from the array using an index value. Instead, this node will pull all of the elements in the array at the same time. So the array that we connect to this input must have at least one element, but can have as many as you'd like. To explain this, we'll use our default base frequency of 440 Hz. Now let's create a custom array for our harmonic multipliers. If we were to only have a single element in our array with a value of 1, it will take our base frequency, multiply it by 1, which is still 440 Hz, and output that signal. If we add a second array element and give it a value of 2, we should hear two tones being played. One of the two tones will be our 440 Hz that is being multiplied by 1, and the other tone will be 880 Hz, which is our base frequency multiplied by 2. If we were to add a third multiplier with a value of 3, we would then hear three tones: 440, 880, and 1320 Hz. From here, I think you get the idea of what the harmonic multiplier input does. Now, before we move on to our other inputs, we need to take note of the index number of our multipliers. Index 0 is 1, index 1 is 2, and index 2 is 3. This will be important moving forward. The next array input is our amplitudes. Without inputting any values into this input, all harmonics are given a value of 1. But what if we wanted to adjust the amplitude for each harmonic? This is why we took note of our multiplier index positions. If we have 3 elements in our harmonic array, then most likely we will have 3 elements in our amplitude array, because they correspond with each other. The amplitude we set for index 0 will be the amplitude used for the harmonic multiplier that is also in index 0. This way, we can have our 440 Hz signal output at full amplitude, but maybe we only want our 880 Hz to receive 75% amplitude and our 1320 Hz tone at 50% amplitude. This is how you would adjust that. And since we now understand the relationship between the arrays, the rest of the inputs should make a lot more sense now as well. Our phase input allows us to individually adjust the phase of a specific multiplier, and our pan amount allows us to spread out the position of each harmonic within a stereo field. To see the full list of videos in this reference guide, click the link to the playlist in the description below.